Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to VS Gaming. Our apologies for the audio issues, but it is good to be back, and this time with some sound. But it is actually something quite special that we have for you this weekend. Of course, it's something a little bit different. We're dropping the spells and we're picking up some guns instead. This is, of course, a CSGO event, and the first one, in fact, for the Masters League, and it's going to be something that I've been very looking forward to, and I'm very excited to be here. Of course, I'm fortunate enough not to be here by myself. I'm joined by, on my left-hand side over here, Recall, obviously a well-known caster. Great to have you alongside me this weekend.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited for this event. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Yeah.
And of course, Snare, a lot of you may not know Snare, but he's actually quite a prolific Dota 2 caster, and he's now joining the fray in CSGO. So welcome to CSGO, friend.
Thank you, thank you. The pubs haven't been as welcoming as you have. I've lost a lot, but hope that VS Gaming has been very nice to us, and yeah, this is much better than that.
I know those feelings. I remember when I started playing CSGO. It wasn't nice. No one was nice to be like, hey, Albert, good to have you on the scene.
Yeah.
It's more
You should have asked
of
me.
No, my friends were nice to me. Everyone I was playing against, just like, this is an opportunity to kill that guy. And knife him a lot.
Knife him in the back because
Yeah.
he doesn't know I'm coming. Yeah.
I'm very bad with the footsteps. It's not my go-to. But yeah, jokes aside, of course, it is wonderful to be back. And we are back, in fact, at the VS Gaming Studio once again in mid-round. It really is beautiful. And we, in fact, even have some improvements, which is nice. And we kitted out slightly differently than the Dota event. We have we have our cows back, for those of you who share your love for CSGO with your love for Dota 2. But we now all kitted out in black, and it's the dark event. Let's go with that.
The dark event.
Yeah, and no clipboard this time, which I'm now I get to use a nice snazzy black book instead.
Book.
Yeah.
But no clipboard, which makes me sad. I was enjoying trolling all the Dota people. Maybe CSGO fans, I'll get to do the same too.
You could just hold it like this and maybe just,
Oh no, I mean like old school clipboard.
Yeah.
Like old school clipboard.
I mean
It was
brown
beautiful.
collar,
Oh, wow.
back.
Oh, wow.
It was great. It was great.
That's some good stuff.
I felt like I had gone back in time.
Yeah.
It was by request as well, so no one is to blame except for me. So I thought though it's probably a good idea for us to chat a little bit about what is VS Gaming. It's obviously a brand that we've seen in the past and obviously rebranded now to VS Gaming or Virtual Sports Gaming. It's definitely a brand that I think we all have had a lot of history with regardless, and a brand that we all share a lot of love for. But let's talk a little bit about this event in particular, the fact that it is the first and what that could mean. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, being the first event, especially Masters, it's a good time for the teams to come out strong and show, what they're capable of. We do see we have a couple of new rosters, and it's going to be exciting to see who comes out on top at this event. I mean, it's no sure thing. So, yeah, it's the first one and exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing for me is going to see what happens to the scene afterwards, because what we saw in Dota, as soon as players got used to the idea that this level of play and this level of money is available to you, and then this level of attainment, this level of fame, suddenly you see everybody try that much harder to try and you want to become recognized as definitively the best. So in CSGO, we've seen it that there have been a lot of times where we know who is the best, but now knowing for sure that you're above and beyond the best and that everybody can see it is a big thing on all the players' minds, I would imagine. So I would expect to see them bring another level we haven't seen before at this event. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to see here.
And of course, unlike Dota 2, we've seen quite a few CSGO events this year already. But as mentioned, this is the first for VS Gaming. And I think, I'm sure you guys will agree with me that there's a special place for VS Gaming. It is almost like the proving grounds of South African gaming. And I think that winning this event, winning the first Masters for CSGO, it would be quite a nice feather to add to your cap for any of these sides.
Yeah.
Of course, it's also only fair to state that this is an organization that has really grown South African esports from something very amateurish at best to a position where we're all seeing a lot more professionalism in the scene. And big kudos to VS Gaming. And I'm not just saying that is something I think that they deserve to be acclaimed with. But moving along, I think it is probably a good idea as well that we chat a little bit about one of the previous events and just do a little bit of a recap. So for those of you who have not yet found the love that is Dota 2, and Snare will agree with me, it is in fact love. You should get involved.
Well, I mean that's kind of something we can debate.
That is a dangerous.
I mean,
Welcome to CS:GO. Dota's the best. I mean, great. Yeah.
Basically, it's just telling CSGO players to try harder. Like, convince me that it's better.
Wow.
I mean,
That's the challenge for the weekend.
Let's go with that. I think. I think there's certainly some guys out there that are going to impress us as well. So
Yeah.
we'll replace good old Caster with Black Poison and those sort of gentlemen. So it'll be interesting. But I do think it is also, for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to check out the Dota event, you might appreciate this. It's just a little bit of a recap from the Dota event held previously from VS Gaming. Some really great memories from that event. Actually going to be quite excited for the memories we're going to make at this one. Actually, recall you were chatting to me just at the hotel, and you mentioned that one of the best parts about these events is actually just getting a chance to talk to everyone, meet the players, meet the other.
Yeah, you coming to these events, yes, we're on the panel and stuff, but the better part of it is putting a face to the alias or the voice you've heard on TeamSpeak, or, and that's always the nice thing about these events is actually getting to interact with the players, colleagues and casters on a face-to-face level instead of on another voice comm or in game or something. It's a good way to grow.
I mean, personally, I also think that's quite exciting in the sense that I think that we are talking about a sport here, right?
Yeah.
And sports
Yeah.
are watched live.
Yeah.
And that does bode well in the sense that we will probably see a lot of fans getting an opportunity to experience this kind of thing in the future, and just get to meet the players, get to get to see things in real life. It is a very different experience, and certainly I share your feelings now. It was just really nice meeting the players, meeting the talent in person. Obviously, everyone from different areas. I mean, on this panel, in fact, we're all split, right? And we have a Durbanite, Johannesburgian, and a Cape Townian. So we don't get a lot of time to chat to each other in person very often. So it's really nice. And of course, the same thing goes with all the players. In fact, inside the teams as well, they'll often have players who play from different areas in Cape Town. Or sorry, in Cape Town.
In Cape Town.
In Cape Town and then the rest of South Africa.
Yeah, it gives the teams time to interact on, get some team building per se at these events, which is quite nice.
I think it also allows people to see the human side of the game. Very often, especially with digital gaming or digital sports, it's very difficult for most people to get involved and know that there are humans behind the keyboard, humans behind the screen names, actual people who are not just doing this for fun, who are actually doing this for the express purpose of doing this professionally, of doing this long term, or doing this as an actual career path. So it's always great to be able to interact with people in that way and know that we're all very serious about this.
Yeah. But I guess that brings up my next point quite nicely, is what exactly is that they're doing? So in this case, I wanted to ask you guys, for anybody, perhaps somebody who has maybe an Overwatch player or a Dota player who's coming in to watch CSGO for the first time. Yeah. What is CSGO?
Well, CSGO 5v5, you have counter-terrorists, you have terrorists. The object of the game is, the round time's 1 minute 45. And the object of the game is to defuse the bomb. The counter-terrorists to defuse the bomb, they win the round. If the terrorists kill the counter-terrorists before they have defused the bomb, then the terrorists will win the round.
Right. And of course, there's a lot more interesting parts to it. I mean, there's a very simple
that's a simple
I was actually really hoping for your best answer.
My best answer?
Yes.
Well, okay, so there's...
You said this to me, actually. it's that answer that we spoke about yesterday.
Wow, I can't remember that far. Okay,
the answer is shoot people, win game.
Shoot people, win game. Yes, yeah. Shoot people, win game. That's the object of CS.
So I think if you are somebody who's new to CSGO and you're sort of a little bit concerned, well, I understand what's going on. At the end of the day, the team that kills the most people generally wins. It's not quite that simple, and there's a lot of technique and
a lot of technique, tactical side, strategic side.
I mean, we get stomped in it, right? I get stomped in. I
don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I don't.
Oh, I get stomped all the time.
we're...
The interesting thing for me about Counter-Strike in comparison to other shooting games is how it's one of the few games that skill matters a whole lot, right? But you can beat a better player by knowing the map more, by just out-strategizing a lot of your opponents.
Yeah. That must be what's happening to me.
That's that option isn't always available to you in some of the other big shooters. For example, if you're playing Battlefield, for example, a greater game as it is, if you don't have the skill to beat somebody at a long range, there's nothing you can really do about that. But Counter-Strike, if you know the map, you know the sites, if you get into your opponent's head, you can outskill them, you can beat them, even though they're much better aimer than you.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. You have maps that are based on, in my opinion, based on raw aiming skill. Like Dust 2 has always been that map where there's less tactics involved and more just if you're winning the angels, you're winning the map. That sort of thing along those lines. Yes, maps like Cache or Cobble, there's a lot of strategic smokes involved. Taking sites, playing retakes. You get some teams that actually give up sites and then just play for the retake. So yeah, there's a lot of tactics involved, and aim, in my opinion, is also quite a deal. But as you say, it's more important to know the tactics.
Or just rush B.
Yeah, or just rush B. I mean, the thing with CS, right? If you stop playing for a week, I mean, I've experienced it. I've gone away or something. Stop playing CS for a week. You come back and you feel like you're so bad. You've just lost all sense of aim. So CS is a game that you have to carry on playing, I think.
Well, I think let's chat about the guys that are in fact keeping on playing. I think it's only right that we introduce some of these sides that are going to be playing with us. And I decided to introduce them in the order in which they will appear at this event. So, of course, first up, and this is probably the side that most are going to be, heard of them before, Energy eSports. And they'll be taking on Southern5, but you may know them better as the Pro Wolves, as they've recently renamed. Gents, I don't want to go into too much detail about the actual matchup just yet, but maybe you can share your thoughts on these two sides very briefly.
Well, okay, Energy, everyone knows them. They've been a solid top 3 team for the last 5 years. Southern5, not too sure what to expect from them, to be honest. We might get surprised by them, I think.
I think Southern 5 is definitely a dark horse team of the weekend. Anything can happen. I think it's always nice when there's no expectations. Anything can happen. Then Energy, like we all know Energy, not just as a team, but as a brand. Energy is just consistently across all esports, always at the top, and especially in Counter-Strike. I think they're probably the most dominant here in comparison to in Dota. So
Yeah, it's between Energy and BVD.
yeah, it's
Pretty much.
Really, those two? Haven't heard those names before.
Who are those teams?
surprising names.
Also worthy of mentioning for Southern5 is they're actually one of the wildcard qualifiers.
Yes.
Which is a little bit harder in my opinion because there's a particularly difficult side that they have to sort of compete with in that qualifier already, who almost expect 100% of the time to occupy a spot. But we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
So congratulations, Southern5, just for qualifying. It is, I think, for these smaller sides, just such an amazing opportunity just to see what this is like. So even if they don't play particularly well here, and we saw this with Mythic in the Dota event, they still get a huge amount out of the deal.
I mean, there's not a lot of time smaller teams get to play in booths or play at a LAN event in South Africa. So it definitely is, those smaller teams coming through wildcard spots definitely is a great opportunity for them, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite things about the whole structure of VS Gaming at the moment is the fact that anybody can win. You can right now be a completely unknown side, no one's ever heard of you before, and maybe the next VS Gaming champion.
Yeah, it
exactly.
keeps the field open. Doesn't lock it as much. It's not as top heavy as it used to be anymore. Now there's always
definitely.
access into it. So very great structure too.
Yeah. So moving on, we of course have DC and WRG. They're two sides that also are very well known. WG not quite the titan they are on the Dota scene, but a respectable side.
Yeah, they are. They are definitely. I think it's going to be quite a good game between DC and WRG. You know, DC, a brand, a team that we all know. They've been around for ever and a day, longer than I've been in the scene. So, you know, it definitely is a matchup that to look out for. WRG definitely still a team. I mean, all 8 teams here, definitely all capable of winning the event.
Do you agree, sir? Do you think that is...
Yeah, for the most part. I think DC for me is actually my favorite team coming into this because I kind of don't want Energy or Bravado to win again. but DC is probably the team that I think has the highest skill cap and the highest ability to get there. Just as long as they play well and as long as they are prepared to take on the Titans, I think they probably have the best shot of getting into that top 3 spot.
So it's interesting you said because this is a reoccurring theme. People just seem to love DC in South Africa. What is it about these guys? I mean explain for particularly for those who have never heard of the side before.
They're fun, and you know, okay, it's one of those weird things where whenever you watch a game, right, you want to always feel like the people playing the game are actually enjoying the game, are actually enjoying themselves, and are not just doing this because they have to professionally, but are doing this purely out of the love. That if you took away the money, they would still want to do this. And watching DC play, you get that feeling that if tomorrow we said, guys, you're never going to be paid a single cent ever again, these are the guys that will still wake up early in the morning and be playing all day. So it's very fun to see them play. They do innovative stuff. Sometimes you'll see them like 3 orbs in a game and you're just like, whatever, what are you guys doing? But they have fun. They enjoy the game. They make it interesting. So it's always, I think that's, I don't know what it is about people who are attracted to DC just as a brand, but that's what just keeps happening. It just attracts fun players. And it's always nice to see fun players.
Yeah, and I think also worthy of mentioning that they are one of the truly old guard. There are a lot of old players on this side. They go far back. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're like sort of 1.6 players, really.
Yes.
So like deep into one, maybe 1.5 players. You know, but deep into the...
Maybe 1.1 players, you never know.
Probably they're beta players. CS, Counter-Strike beta players. Well before CSGO even existed. Who knows, maybe they dabbled in Source, but let's hope that they didn't.
Let's hope not.
Okay, so moving on, I think we are running out a bit of time, which is great because I think we're all very excited to see these two teams. But it is only fair that we talk about the other 4 sides, of course, competing. Next up will be APG and Bravado Gaming. So APG is interesting. I believe they've had quite a big roster change.
Yeah, they have recently. So I'm not too sure what to expect from the new lineup. It is a tough seed to get, though. I mean, let's be honest. You're coming into tournament, you're playing Bravado first game.
Not fun.
No, I mean, it's not going to be fun. But, I mean, if APG come on form, we haven't seen much of them recently, so not too sure what to expect there. But I'm sure if they do come with some form, then it's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
but very unlucky seed though.
I think besides S5, probably the most unknown team, like the most unknown in terms of expectations, APG. We just don't know what's going to happen. It's either going to be amazing or not. Like we'll just have to see. Whereas with Bravado, it's we've seen Bravado play a lot.
Yeah,
we've seen what they do.
We've seen what they do.
We have a pretty
Bravado
good
fans.
idea of what Bravado is going to be about, but that might prove to be their detriment because APG, because they're unknown, they don't necessarily have as much tape on them on how they're going to play with their new roster as it is now. So they could come out with something mind-blowing that none of us have ever seen before.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody could expect it.
Like rushing B.
It'll be great. That's going to be the final push. Grand finals, Bravado versus. I mean, I think everyone's. I'm not going to say it, I'm going to jinx it, but Bravado versus someone that we kind of expect in the grand final, and the final plan is just over TeamSpeak. Guys, I got this. Rush
You
B.
got this, Rush B. Easy
Let's
stretch.
go.
They'll never see it coming. And of course, that brings us to our last two teams, XTC and XD, which will be a tongue twister for the casters, I'm sure.
I can't wait to hear that.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Sitting on the panel, there's nothing better than watching the casters fail.
Casters mess
Yeah,
up.
that's the best thing in the world.
I mean, we're all casters here,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
we
So,
are.
so we can enjoy
We can
this.
empathize. It's so much fun to watch from the other side and say, yeah, I would have gotten that wrong too. But I'm glad you did.
But I'm glad you did it.
But we were talking about that matchup yesterday, myself and Rico,
Yes, we were.
and we probably thought it's probably the closest matchup in terms of their skill set overall. So this is honestly the one matchup I have zero idea who's going to win.
No.
I have no. I just want to see a good game in that one.
It's going to be a very good game. As you said, it's the closest matchup in the seeding of the 4 games that we're going to see today. So expectation-wise, I have no idea. It's literally a 50-50 in my brain. Any team there could win.
So basically what we're saying is watch all the games, but make sure you don't miss that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the tournament structure, because it's also pretty interesting. Of course, we are going to kick off the games around about 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, they're BO1s.
Yes.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, but at the same time, the one thing I do like is that if you know it's a BO1, right, then there's greater emphasis for you to bring out your best map early.
Yeah.
We're not going to be seeing teams saying, you know what, we're good at this map, you're also kind of good, we'll veto it, it's fine. You're going to try and force to make sure you play your absolute best map.
It also forces the teams to know each other.
Yeah.
In terms of best of ones, because you don't want to come into a tournament saying, we kind of think we know what map they're good on, so let's just ban that one, and then you play on train, for example, and you just get stomped because the other team is just that good and you didn't know about it. So, you know, that to me is important in best of ones, the draft of the maps. And like in Dota, I think the winner of the draft there is in a good standing already to win the game.
Yeah. I also think that one of the things that BO1s does allow you to do is that it gives you that pure psychological edge in that if you just keep winning on particular maps, even if it's not your best map, enemy teams are forced to veto it against you, and you know that, fine, whatever, we'll play something else where we probably will do better than we did before. And over time, it makes it less clear to other teams which map they should actually veto against you because they don't have as much info about you. They don't know what you've been training. They don't know what you're actually really good at. All they know is that one map, and they're like, cool, you won that. Then you win, 3 times, and you're in the grand finals?
Yeah.
Does that not give you a disadvantage, though? I mean, everyone else spending a lot of time in this booth, and then you go straight to the finals, and you've only been here for a couple of hours.
Well, the thing is, right, the team, what's interesting about a best of one format, the team that's one of the teams in the grand final goes unbeaten into the final. It's just how the structure of the tournament works. The team coming from losers bracket has to fight through best of threes to get to the grand final. So it gives the losers bracket team, it gives a little bit of an advantage because they're playing more over the weekend, but the team that comes to the winners bracket gets a 1-game advantage. So that's their advantage, I guess, for not playing as much.
Also, they get to see a lot more of how you play. Like there's pretty much going to be no surprises for the team that starts in the winner bracket in the final. Like they'll know they'll know what you're going to be bringing to the table, whereas you might not know the same about them.
Exactly. You're gonna see what maps they're good on.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting. It makes for an exciting grand final, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So just in case there was a little unclear for you, there will be BO1 winner bracket.
Yeah.
Low bracket or loser bracket will be BO3s, and then the grand final will be a BO5 with a 1-game advantage. So it's going to be interesting. What I find particularly interesting about the structure is it almost feels like it's inverted. We often see it the other way around, where it's BO3 upper bracket, BO1 low bracket.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is, but it also forces the teams in that format where it's BO3 upper bracket and BO1 lower bracket. It kind of makes the teams want to stay in the upper bracket because there's more chance of getting knocked out if you're in the losers bracket, right? I'm not saying it's an easier road in the losers bracket with the best of 3
Safer
format,
road.
but it's a safer road.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely is a safer road. So if you drop down to the lower bracket, there's more chance of you going to the grand final than if it were the other way around. So
Yes.
it's a little bit. It's
Maybe
a
you still
little
get
bit
your
more
you still get your shot in the low bracket. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think we'd all agree you want to be in the low bracket, but it's safer than it normally would be at the very
Yes.
least.
Yes.
Right, and on that note, though, talking about the actual matches, something that everyone likes in this world is free things, and of course we have those free things for you, and we will be giving away, I believe, 10 keys across the first match alone, I believe. Yeah, I mean, for one game, you watch one game, there's 10 keys to go out there. And it's also morning time, so if you're an early bird, you're in a good position here. So stick around.
Even if you're at work, just throw the stream up on your work PC. I mean,
Yeah.
who's gonna? Yeah, exactly.
Just
Your
don't
boss doesn't need to know. Your boss you can, in fact, bring him in. Just he walks into the office, hey,
say
sir, they're giving away stream keys.
I'm
and-
watching CS:GO.
Yeah. Right. So that is very nice. I also think, just before we wrap up on the conversation about the teams and everything, those of you may have wondered about the wild card position, and we mentioned that there was a particular side that we kind of expect to be the wild card team, but I don't think we mentioned we were chatting about them. So Bravado was in fact the other side that won their wild card seed, which is an interesting one by its nature.
Yeah.
And of course, we would kind of feel that they're one of the three sort of big competitors. We're going to save this, but it is interesting to see them come through. Then, of course, they've also made a recent change where they have one of the former Bravado players. In fact, one of the Energy players is now a former Bravado player. Obviously, you wanted to go there.
No, it's okay. You can.
No, to be honest, you're right there. I saw it coming out of your mouth.
So in this first game, obviously, Energy has now picked up Black Poison, which is interesting. In game, I think he's in game leading. So that it's since he's come into the team, we've seen Energy just sort of come alive, really, and they're just doing so much better with BPN in the team. So it's a good thing to watch. I mean, Energy now with that addition looks like 10% stronger at least.
I think like the addition of Black Poison probably made them, before they were definitely in the conversation for top 3 all the time. Now it's hard to see who's better. Now it's like, okay, you have to like really split hairs to definitely say somebody's better than them. Like, sure, I'm pretty sure the results will follow up mostly, but one thing I've seen interesting about how they play now, they play a lot more, it's like more controlled aggression.
Yes.
Before it used to be like, they'd be like, all right, Dumpster, go kill them all. Cool. And that was kind of the game plan for a lot of the games. But now it's like very structured, very solid play that we see from Energy pretty much every game. And they make much fewer mistakes. Like
They do. I mean, it's exciting to watch those entries come in. I mean, just one example, I was watching a game the other day where we got, they came into side, got both entries before anyone knew what was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and it comes down to the strategic way that they enter sides now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, I have some great news for everyone. You've had enough of us, I'm sure, by now. And we are going to give you something that you've really been looking forward to. And that, of course, is the first game. We're going to go straight into the vetoes now. So let's see how it goes. Gentlemen, is there any map that you would like to see played just because you potentially like it?
I'd actually like to see Nuke. And the reason I want to see Nuke, because I don't think other sides really prepared for Nuke that much. So I'd like to see just evening the odds and say, all right, let's just see what happens. We put 10 guys in the game, like pistols blazing, whatever. Let's see what goes down.
I want to see Train. I think I love the map. I enjoy the map, and it's a good one. It's exciting.
I want to see Nuke myself.
Really?
I have a fantastic reason why. You guys are going to love this, right? This is a bit of a Devon story, and I apologize in advance for that. But our observer threw my weapon over a wall in a CS:GO game. It was an expensive weapon. I recently got a new skin on it, and I was very proud of it.
Yes.
It was tossed over a wall. He then told me, you know what he did? Can I see your skin? Of course.
Yes, of
course you may see my skin.
Yeah.
And then I see him leaping into the distance, my weapon flying far away. I was not happy. So apparently Nuke is the hardest map for an observer to follow, based on the structure of the map. So I'd like to see him fail. That's my one for it. Otherwise, I'm actually a big Cobblestone fan. I feel like that's really. I feel like it's not the most popular opinion. I think most people like Mirage.
I mean. In professional, I mean, Cobblestone is a very popular map nowadays. It just, I'm not too sure why, but it's become a popular map.
So Dust is gone.
We might
new
see
Dust. It's
Cobblestone.
Dust 3.
Yeah, Dust 3.
Yeah.
It might come up though. Inferno taken away as well as Cash. No Cash. Probably a good idea to ban Cash away from Energy.
Train gone? Yes,
Train
that's a good
gone,
idea.
yeah. Very good idea.
Southern5 taking that out. That Train, Energy's strongest map, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Nuke's still in it. I guess just hoping. Like,
Nuke's alive. Overpass gone as well.
Overpass gone.
I mean, I think we'll probably see Cobble throughout all the best of ones, in my opinion.
Most
I'm going to
likely.
call it now, but I think that's the way things are going to go.
I'll be pretty happy with that.
I think it's probably the map that requires the least amount of in-depth knowledge of every particular area. You can probably get away with just being really good at the game and not necessarily have like spent tons of hours on cobblestone. So,
But I mean, so obviously we would expect Energy go into this as favorites, right?
Yeah.
So what is the map that is most likely to? I mean, even if it's been banned out, what do you gentlemen think is the map that would most likely give us, surprise issues to the Energy squad?
I think if Southern5 have been training it, Nuke would probably be that surprise map. Nuke's been taken by Energy.
Well,
okay.
Okay.
There you go.
so this
Suck it, observer.
Well, there goes that idea.
Oh no, we've been lied to.
the-
It's cash.
It's cash.
We've been lied
Okay,
to.
so
Cash.
cash a good map. That's, yeah.
I mean, cash is quite an interesting one as well. I quite enjoy just the. I know it sounds weird, but I like the look and feel of cash. It suits the environment of, and that's probably not the most technical analysis that you're ever going to hear. But I don't know. It's not exactly a pretty map, but it fits counter-terrorism, right?
No, it does.
it does. Yeah.
And I mean, so Energy taking out Nuke and Southern5 taking out Mirage as well. So the pick being cash. But I mean, so cash, I think A side for me is a big one. If you've got the smokes down, coming out of A main is just ridiculously tough because you have a very easy hold in the form of NBK or quad, and then you have to watch forklift, you have to watch uppers, and there's just so many angles to come out. So if you have the correct smokes, A side is easier to take for the terrorists. So see what happens.
But Rush B.
But Rush B.
Rush B.
It's built into anyone who's ever played Cisco. It's been ingrained in our spirit.
Yeah, well,
So,
none of us
Do
are
we know
Russian,
which
so
team is starting on which side? Just yet?
I didn't see, no.
Oh, okay. Because I think probably it's probably better for S5 to start as terrorists this go around. I think they need some momentum. They need to be able to actually push the envelope. They need to actually make Energy a little bit uncomfortable. They can't allow Energy to be the ones pushing the envelope and getting aggressive, especially in the first map, especially in the first half, because I've noticed that Energy tend to roll over you. If you allow Energy to win the first half, basically you've lost. There's no way to come. It's very hard to come back against them.
It's momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, if you let a team like Energy gain momentum in the first half, you're going to have a very tough time in the second half of that game. So yes, I'd like to see Southern5 start on terrorists just to see if they can get a foothold into the game and defend a decent score. I think getting somewhere like a 7-8 as close as possible. Yeah. Might be a good idea for them.
I think anything less than double digits is probably okay.
Yeah, I mean you're looking 7-8 or 8-7 rather 9-6. That's somewhere where they're looking at. Cash becomes very difficult once you're hitting the 10-5, 11-4 mark. It does become a very difficult map to defend on CT.
Do you think there's any chance we'll see anyone sort of just forgetting to defend and just going for the retake instead?
I mean, not really. Maybe B side. If the counter-terrorist team realize early that they're going to lose it, and they haven't rotated over, they might give it away and try for a retake on B or A. Very unlikely on cash though. Very unlikely.
Okay. Right. Well, we are getting pretty close to that moment. Now you have fun. Being immune to this challenge, I get to ask you guys for predictions.
Oh no.
Now, I think you're getting it. I mean, with all due respect to Southern5, they are the underdogs, and maybe one of the easier predictions we'll have. At least not necessarily this game, but potentially you guys will be quite happy to pick your side, gentlemen. Who do you think is going to take it?
Energy definitely. I think. I'm just thinking score-wise.
Oh, let's go with that. That can be bonus points.
Oh no.
I think Energy takes it. Score 18-12.
16-12 you mean?
Oh, 16-12, sorry, yeah. Not 18.
18.
I would like to see a game. I mean, it would be really interesting.
I think Energy is going to take this one probably a little bit closer, 16-11.
Okay. So a little bit more positive towards the Southern5 side, or once again, as you may have known them, the Pro Wolves. Right. I think for real this time, let's send it over to our casters, gentlemen in the casting booth. How are you this fine morning?
Not too bad, Devin. Thank you for giving us a nice solid 30 minutes of chat there. It's going to be a great game. I mean, looking at these two teams, Energy eSports coming in with top seed, and I guess that is something to look forward to as them as a team. They're looking pretty hot lately. Oh, well, I mean, they're going up against Southern5, the old Pro Wolves team. Mr. Goals, you'll have a bit more on that.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the first seed versus the last seed. In my opinion, I think it's going to be quite a rough game for Southern5.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're looking at the knife round right now, and obviously there's going to be to decide the sides as well. But I mean, Energy starting on CT, starting on T for them. It's they've got a really, really strong T side. I mean, that's one thing. Maybe perhaps that Black Poison brought coming across, joining in as well. Black Poison is, he brought a lot of strategy back with him from Europe.
Definitely.
And I think that's something that aids a lot on the T side. I mean, looking at a strong map like Cash, where your T can be everything.
I think at the end of the day, he's brought a lot more structure, and exactly like the panel was speaking about, that aggression now is becoming more calculated, and a little bit more at the right time. And I think Robbie's brought a lot of good work ethic. And but yeah, here we go live.
Okay, and we are just going live into the game. Energy Esports for Southern5, game number 1 of the first day here of the VS Gaming Masters. And, we're looking at Energy Esports starting on that T side as well, so we're going to see some nice, exciting play from them at least. And a team that's, I think, is one of the more exciting sides to watch as the terrorists here in South Africa, especially with their new change-ups and their new lineup as well. And, I mean, how they're going to play this, I mean, I would assume they take the first few rounds just to see like what kind of comp Southern5 are playing on their CT side, what kind of the points they're going to be ones to focus before Energy really start to decide, are they going to put that pressure on mid, are they going to look to put pressure on the sites early on?
Interesting thing here is that Southern5 seem to have got Sunroom, and they've pushed all the way through B, so they should know this is an A hit.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're moving into A main here. Some really great situations here. They've breached highway.
Yeah, after set up into highway, I mean, that's probably the like I said, they're going to take the first few rounds to kind of just see and feel, but they are going to go for the execute, get the bomb down pretty early. That's going to be a pretty clean takedown. Flexi with 1, Flexi with 2 as well, takes on Trogi, and that's going to be an Energy Esports, pretty much a clean sweep coming out there. And it's going to be 5 alive for Energy Esports to take the first round. And, that's going to be a nice little setup as well. So it takes, I wouldn't say it takes 1 round to really get a feel of it, but, Southern5 are going to go up against a really, really strong T-side coming up here. And I think that highway entry point is something that a lot of teams seem to disregard. Once you give up that control of middle, you're left pretty much hanging from on both sides, really.
Yeah, you see, the thing is that Southern5 were playing retake on A, and they had pushed all the way through to Sunroom. It just felt like the rotations there were, or the understanding of them hitting A, it didn't seem to be there, considering they had the whole of almost T spawn.
Yeah.
So I mean, a bit strange in that regard. But I mean, yeah, it was a clean sweep by Energy.
Cool.
But I mean, moving on to this anti-eco now.
Yeah, I mean, they took a gamble. They went for the A push into A main, looking for a little bit of information on Energy Esports, but they obviously just could not grab that one out. And Energy actually spread pretty much loosely around B there, keeping an eye on middle as well. But they will go for the bench play. Yeah, could have been a kill there for Kimpachi on Cannibalistic, but he jumped down very low HP, takes down Kimpachi as well. And that's going to be another plant going down on B. 3 players left alive. I guess the play right now is to try just get at least one of the rifles. They might be able to take down one, but no, Canny still hanging on. That's pretty much nothing. Gets another frag there. And Energy Esports going to make it another clean sweep, and they hold on to those rifles, which is probably the most important thing on that eco round. On the anti-eco, sorry.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, they started the round, try to spot the aggression from Southern5, and they did. They saw it was a man, so they immediately did exactly what they should have done, and that's just get together and hit a site together. And they chose B, they hit B, and they've successfully won the round.
Yeah, I mean, the gamble could have worked off. I mean, if Southern5 had got that A push locked down, picked up 1 or 2 frags, got a rifle or 2, I mean, they could have maybe protected them for the rest of the round. But going into the 3rd round now, it's pretty much just going to be hold it off. Energy coming in with 2 UMPs and 2 AK-47s that they kept from the 1st round as well. Dumpster opens up the round with a kill on Kimpachi. And, let's see now. Maybe just one more kill as well across the map. Black Poison does open up as well. And again, straight out onto that A-bomb site. Trying to bring them down, going up for the ladder. Not too sure about that. Can't really hit those boxes, but can he... Doing a little bit of disrespect here with just the 5-7 out. Trying to get the frag, eventually takes down Dweezil as well. Well, Call of Duty player too. I see lots. Everyone's coming over to CS now. Everyone's in CS. So Dweezil actually a sub. I mean, Southern5 are playing. It's a new relatively new lineup. Dweezil is coming in from I think Mythic Gaming as well. He's coming into sub for Southern5. So 1 player left alive here, RMP. And Energy Esports are going to make another clean sweep. Not a single death into the 3rd round. I mean, will it be some sort of record if they end this game with not a single death on a player. Has that ever been happened before in CS:GO? To your memory?
I'm not too sure, but I mean, that would be quite a rough defeat.
Yeah.
I mean, just even a one frag here or there, at least. But yeah,
I think the power will come now from the buy round number 4, the big one.
you see, this is where it matters. This is now where you get to feel out what Energy want to do on their T side, based on what they're going to do on this first gun round. I suspect that they'll just default it up and they'll just wait until they get some sort of information and then hit one of the sites.
Gonna get Dweezil picking up the AWP as well. As you said, those old COD players on their AWPs, we've seen it from players like Makmur as well. They come in with their quick scopes and their fancy tricks and can catch a player or two off guard, but now comes the time where you have to kind of cement what it is you're going to do. Like Energy eSports haven't really given away too much in terms of what they want to do this map so far. They haven't put emphasis on mid, they haven't put emphasis on A. It's rather just going to be the play and pick here. This first round, I'm pretty sure going to the next round we'll see a lot more kind of structure coming out from Energy eSports. What side they're going to be wanting to put emphasis on, find that weak spot. But it looks like B takes one down as well. That's Stompster taking down Kempachi, and Black Poison's just doing a little bit of lurking here. And then haven't we talked about the roles in Energy eSports? I think that's something that might have changed up a little bit with the addition of Black Poison. I saw both him and Canada picking up the AWP. Now straight into B they go. Stompster takes down RMP. That's the B bomb site wide open there for Energy eSports. Dweezil is around POWP, burning a little bit. Wants to see if he can get that quick pot shot, and gives him a little bit of opportunity to get into the site, get some information, and allow some of his players to get into the site. But again, still no players down from Energy eSports, and we'll see if they can survive a 4th round here with no deaths. Goals.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is very clinical from Energy. I mean, even Black Poison sitting in middle, and he just waited and waited and waited, and the patience paid off, and he got the rotations. He's picked them off in middle. And going back to the roles that you were discussing, being in-game leader now for Energy. Black Poison being positioned on the flank is a very, very crucial component of the whole puzzle, because he can just instantly, make a decision based on what he's hearing. And because of the structure that they now have, he can, he knows what his team are doing on the other side of the map, and he can now judge from his side what needs to be done and what needs to be executed. And another good round there from Energy.
Yeah, no deaths yet. But I think the greatest thing about playing a lurking role and players who are in-game leading is, like, if you have a large amount of trust in your team, you can have that patience. You're not leaning. You're not waiting for someone to die on the side and having to rotate early from your kind of lurk position, try to get a frag. We're talking about there's just deaths everywhere right now. Black Poison takes down Kempachi. Is the last frag there. It's going to be on the A bomb side again, but it is an eco coming out from Southern5, so we kind of expect Energy to walk into this bomb side and get this bomb down. But yeah, I think that lurking role, when you have trust in your teammates and you're doing the calling, you can afford that patience. You can afford to sit and wait for that frag, because you can catch them on the rotate. You can catch a player who's maybe trying to, I would say, counter lurk, kind of look for information as well. So, I mean, really, really great. And I mean, my opinion at least is that Energy did have a kind of leadership issue in their previous roster. It was cannibalistic, doing a bit of the courting, and, with Black Poison coming in, be like, all right, gents, this is how we're going to do it. And that's it. I mean, you see it paying off right now. Energy eSports are going to take the 5th round there. They did lose 2 players, so Flexi and Dumpster first on the desk there for Energy eSports.
The first death is quite a topic to be discussed. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is just them, saving, getting basic pistols. So I mean, we can't expect
economy
too much.
Though.
Yeah, no, look, Energy's economy is really, really booming at the moment. I mean, soon Canny's gonna have to start spending that money for his fellow teammates. Yeah.
And, we're still going to go with 2-1 AWP in Black Poison, and you see paying off there on that last round.
What's interesting here is the double AWP setup that Southern5 have invested into. I mean, this is a big investment.
That's actually something I wanted to ask you, because, looking at, you look at a team who's not getting any deaths, you're saying, okay, cool, there's obviously an issue that they're losing a lot of angels, and they see Dweezil pick up the first frag as well. So maybe the double AWP setup is perfect for them right now, because they're losing those rifle angels and have to look for something else. They have to be like, cool, we can't take them with our rifles. Pick up an AWP, maybe look for those openers, look for those wide spots where we can make some room for our team to, just move out and catch them off guard. Because now Energy are worrying about, they don't know that there's a double AWP set up yet, but they've just seen Dweezil take a frag, so now they have to kind of just think, all right, cool, let's take it slow. We've lost a player, and then if they get caught by the second AWP, they might not see it coming, and then there's a round on the board for Southern5.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, that the double AWP setup, it really benefits them in terms of getting information. If they can get the information and they happen to get the first pick, they can instantly fall back and hold down the advantage. Is exactly what they've done. And now, as Energy, they need to be more concerned about what utility they're throwing. And now it's the chance of the AWP being there is going to be anywhere on the map at this point.
Yeah. Well, Druggy going to pick up another one there, and looks like we might not see any deaths coming out from Southern5 this time around. So it'll be a first for them at least. And Black Poison, Canny goes down as well. So now just Tuckbook left alive. And this is exactly what we're talking about. You speak about utilities, and you see, usually when you're going for those setups, if you're unaware of this double AWP setup, you might expend your smokes pretty early, not knowing that you need to keep them for later on the round when you have to try and block off those crucial points for the 2 AWPs. But Tuckbook left alive, and I mean, he's going to pick up one, goes for a second, he might, for a second there, I thought he might be able to do it, but then he was going to go up against the 2 AWPs.
I would never really count him out.
No ways.
The problem is that Tuckbook had an AK there. If he had a Tech 9, the round was won.
Yeah, 100%. But you see, pretty calm and collected NG eSports team right now. You can see on the camera there, and I think they're just going through the ropes. I mean, I think this tournament this weekend is extremely important for Energy Esports to kind of cement their position currently in South Africa. They did win a big match 2 nights ago, and I think, looking onto LAN, you got a new team, new lineup, and you want to kind of just look forward and be like, all right, let's kind of cement our position in South Africa. We no longer want to be known as number 2 team, but yeah, pointing at the screen. Oh no, I waffle sometimes, thank you. That's why I brought you here, because I waffle and you tell me focus.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to bring out here that they've got a 4-1 going here, stacking towards the B side. And, some aggression there by the CTs. You should have got a fair amount of information there.
Yeah, you might have seen a couple.
And but they've stacked.
Well, now, with the information, they rotate pretty quick over. RMP up top doesn't get the second one taken down by Cannibalistic. Now 1 player left on the site. Turn it into a 2v2, but now Dweezil's back up there. 1v1, Black Poison up against Dweezil. Dweezil with the AWP, so I mean, he has to switch it out here to take on Black Poison. Is it 40 HP? So I mean, this should be a pretty okay. No, Black Poison catches him with the edge of the clip there. Takes down Dweezil. NG Esports 6-1.
And
so yeah,
this is what I was going to say at the start of the round, was that the last gun round, even though they won it, this was the most important one.
Yes.
Because why? Now they reset. Now they've got no economy. They've been double AWPing. They've got no money in the bank. I mean, your poorest guy, they can't even afford to buy a cheap pistol. Not even a decoy grenade. But I mean, this is now going to be a pretty much a double save for Southern5. If they want to go for the double AWP setup once again.
Well, it worked. It worked. I mean, obviously, Energy Esports played the right card there. You see, they went for the 4-1 onto B as well. So I mean, that put them in a good position to take down those AWPs, put pressure on those AWPs as well. It paid off. Now players just kind of sidestepping into that A main. Nothing really too exciting to talk about there. They're just kind of throwing bodies at Energy right now. Get this round over and done with. There's a deagle on Kempachi, so maybe you can do a little bit of damage here. But as you said earlier, the economy is so good on Energy Esports right now. They can afford a few more rounds. Fire gets a tag, but it's not going to be a kill. Energy Esports, I mean, looking some pretty good stats right now. 10 for 2 on Cannibalistic. I mean, once again, leading from the front. And I think, with Robbie taking over as in-game leader, it does leave a little bit of room for players like Cannibalistic and Domster just to do whatever the hell they want.
Look, I mean, I think the most important thing to note about Energy since Black Poison has joined is the general work ethic in the team.
Oh, yes.
And it's getting the team on the same page in every single small little way possible. And I think that's where he's come in, and he's brought the structure, he's brought the work ethic. And I think in general, when you're playing in a team and everyone's putting in as much as you are, and everybody is trying to achieve the same goal or be on the same page, that's when you even feel more confident as a player by having confidence in your teammates. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the improvements here by Energy Esports.
Well, it's another eco coming out here. Southern5 struggling a bit now against Energy Esports as they were hard reset. Had a good round, and that might actually work out. RMP going to be able to get 1 AK-47. If he keeps this, they will have, I think, an okay transition into the 10th round. But it's just going to be Dweezil looking for one more frag here. Energy Esports set up on the A-bomb side. Oh, if he could steal that AWP, it would be amazing, but he doesn't get it. Tuckbook cancels him out there, and yeah, it's their confidence. But right now, talking of confidence, I mean, Southern5 needs something here. They need another couple of rounds. Energy Esports, again, they're not showing their cards. They're not sticking to a set strategy. They're confident in just walking onto a site, getting those opening frags. Even if they lose 2 players, I mean, they're cool. They're walking with 3 and get the frags.
Well, I mean, what I've seen so far is that all they've been doing is, on your anti-eco rounds, they're pretty much going with the basic default hold, putting pressure towards A main, because that's pretty much the easiest place for the CTs to push, converting those kills, getting into the sites. And then on gun rounds, they seem to just, at the moment, having a lot of success in walking into B. And, that involves just throwing the cross smoke, getting towards the site, and tactically just breaching the site together as a unit, and they're having quite a bit of success. And you can see that on the CT side, on the ecos, Southern5 seem to be always pushing when they're saving, but they're never ever really getting info on the gun round. So that allows Energy to get those 4-1s out and hit a site without there being any sort of rotation or any sort of stack towards that site, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I was going to talk about. It's like this double AWP setup once again, and Energy haven't put really any pressure onto mid. And those is where the AWPs kind of pay off. You're holding those long angles on A, but if you do get flashed out, you're not going to... You missed the opening shot there. Got that, but now going to get burst down by Cannibalistic. Domsa takes some Trogi as well. And again, they just spread kind of towards that A bomb site. They got one player sitting out in the door. He's going to burst out any second. Kenny going to catch the guy on ladder, trying to jump around. And that's going to be Leon going down as well. Energy coming up from highway, coming onto A, and that's going to be 5 players left alive. And yeah, it's going to be another round for Energy eSports. Another clean sweep. No, sorry, Cannibalistic went down there. Kempachi left alive here with RMP. They got to save these gun goals. I mean, that's pretty much the play right now.
You know, they have to. They've got their economy is very, very weak. You know, and they need to try get around on the board. The sort of retake is very, very difficult. And what I find brilliant there by Energy eSports was that they knew that the economy of the opposing team was very, very weak. And what did they do? They just took middle control. They didn't have the utility to fight it, and they took it very methodically. Had the smokes in place. You know, got to the angle where you could post sandbags. Kind of ballistic.
And Diesel missed that initial shot, which I think was the biggest thing right there. If he got that shot, it would have been a different round.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think you know, committing a guy to sandbags when you're not gonna hold middle strong with say 3 guys, then you know that leaves that player completely isolated. So you know that's where Energy capitalized on that mistake, and then they've got another round on the board.
Well, 9-1 right now. Energy eSports looking strong in their opening match of the VS Gaming Masters, and well, we'll see another kind of, I would say, half-assed by coming out from Southern5. And we'll see them go. Black Poison opens up the round once again, takes down Dweezil in that mid. That's going to be just a little bit of information play there from Dweezil, and we can't really, you know, bank on them getting too many kills out here. Domster takes another one in A main, and it's going to be one man sitting behind the forklift there trying to bring him down. Does do a little bit of damage there to Cannibalistic, but it's just going to be a little bit of poking right now. But that fire is really a big press. Has to expend a smoke, but Trogi steps from the right and takes him down as well. It's a double there. RMP actually takes down Domster and Kenny, so they're going to get 2 more rifles coming out, and that's going to be a great round for Southern5 so far. I mean, with what they had, at least they managed to take down take away 2 rifles from. But
this is crucial. I mean, you got a guy in CD Spawn, and he's just going to cut the rotations off. Hitting B is the perfect play here. Oh, and he catches him off. Now they know it's B, but unfortunately it's too late. Energy are already there. They had the info, and yeah, they executed it and capitalized perfectly.
Keeping that rifle probably would have been, I would say, a little bit more important. But then again, Energy going to get the 10th round here. Little pop flash from Black Poison. He knows Trogi's around here, and that's going to be such a nice little tap coming out there from BPN. Let's put Energy 10-1. So I mean, some of the casters, I mean, some of the panelists threw out some very hopeful predictions there, like I heard some 16-12, 16-8s. But we off camera, we kind of predicted that this would pretty much go exactly as it's going right now. And it's unfortunate. I mean, Southern5 coming in, they had the gaming house in practice as well, and you know, looking at their lineup, maybe just coming in first game, maybe some first game blues, hopefully.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, this is you're also facing against a formidable Energy team. Yeah. I mean, these guys have had some good recent form. They're definitely coming here to win, and you know, that's this sort of steamroll is very, very hard to counter. I mean, now you've got players that are just feeling confident. I mean, look at Kani just running and strafing through the smoke there, and there's the train. I mean, you know, they're looking good, they're feeling good, and you know, the scoreline looks good.
Yeah, that little jump onto the ladder. I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I mean, obviously, you know they're going to try to look for the refrag, and you're pretty much running away with your back. You know, you don't have anyone else spotting you, backing you up from the A side. So, I mean, I think it's little mistakes like that in the end of the day separate a lot of these teams. You know, running back with your back, not having a teammate back you up and spot for you at least, and you jump onto a ladder where you just have no hitbox at all. Your hitbox disappears completely on a ladder.
See, I think the most crucial part there is what he needed was just a simple flash from A. Once he had got that initial pick in middle, and that allows you to fall back.
Yes, perfect. Well, entry onto A once again for eSports. A couple of pop flashes coming out there from Dweezil, but he's going to get taken down immediately. Trogi does answer, but it's going a little bit too late. Actually, no, it's a 2v2. I mean, this is not doable. There's a bullpup on RMP. Why not? I mean, the gun, I think, is one of the most underrated guns in the game. It works in low MMR CSGO, so I mean, why wouldn't it work in comp CSGO? But Flexi, keeping our bomb does go down, and Tuckbook and Flexi left alive here. Another player who I think is going to be one to watch this weekend here, Mr. Flexi. Quite one player. Apache, this is a couple of first shots, not spots. The second player, it's going to be an 11-1 scoreline for Energy eSports.
Lovely trading setup there in the 2v2. I mean, they're literally just, playing very, very defensive, waiting for the guys to walk into the sites. No util on the CT side to force anyone out of positions, and pretty much straight out of the textbook in terms of, holding down a 2v2.
Yeah. Oh, pause comes out now from Southern5. I mean, I want to say it might be a little bit too late. I mean, maybe if you're looking at this deficit right now, maybe a pause sort of came out maybe at the 1-7 mark, the 1-5 mark, no, 1-7, 1-8. Look, because at that scoreline, you can still kind of sit down, have a think, and be like, all right, gents, what do we need to do? We have 6 more rounds in this map. We need to maybe get to an 8-7, maybe get to an 9-6 or a 10-5 at least. What can we do differently? And I think it's just those little individual players. I mean, if you look at, you said that, bottom seed versus top seed Energy eSports are on fire right now, but looking at the players, I mean, some of the players are having some good thing. Unfortunately, some just not pitching up at the moment, and we'll see them having a little team talk there, just trying to figure out what can they do to get these last 3 rounds.
Yeah, look, I think like you said, the pause. I mean, it's already 11-1, so I mean, I suppose rather late than never, But I think even just to break that sort of momentum is the most important part, because Energy are really just getting onto that steamroll sort of mentality, and they're not feeling any pressure at all. And
Connie's yawning in the back there.
Yeah, it's still very early in the AM.
It is, eh?
I'm very surprised to see him and Hakim up at this time in the morning. It's impressive. Times are changing. Esports is happening.
Gonna get those 9-to-5 jobs soon. But still, the pause going on here. If you are just tuning in, thanks so much for watching. It's VS Gaming Masters game number 1, day 1 here. We got a whole weekend worth of action, CS:GO action here. And, of course, some giveaways as well, I'm told, on some keys and some stuff. I heard the panelists talking about it prior to games. If you are watching on the stream, share it with your mates. Come tell them to watch Goals Casting. It's going to be a really, really sick weekend. And today it's the best of ones, best of ones throughout the day. We've got one BO3 later this evening. It's going to be the lower bracket game at 8 p.m. So stick around, watch some CS, enjoy the day. And of course we are going to get going once again. 11-1, 3 rounds left of this half, and Energy just want to close it out. 14-1, I think they'd be happy with that.
See, this is interesting now. They're taking mid control, and the CTs have adjusted by playing, making sure that they hold that middle. They're trying to get a boost going, but
look at the gun he's got.
Cannibalistic, getting a bit overzealous there.
Oh, this is good though. They push through mid, but I'm going to get the frag, I don't think. Oh, gets flamed away immediately. Leon trying to make do, the player's literally just right there through the wall, but Flexi will take him down. Eventually, Dweezil, the 2 men pushing through mid, and Fergie left alive here on this A-bomb side just to hold it down by himself. Then hasn't any backup yet. Yeah, both players towards B. Doesn't get that first shot. Can't close down. Black Poison on, what's that? Was that 11 HP?
Attack Poke on 2 as well. I thought he was gone, but
yeah,
it's very, very low HPs on the Energy side, but I mean, they should be able to hold this down.
Yeah, well, Dumpster picks up another one and takes him down, and coming in, not getting the opening frag, unfortunately. And that's going to be a 12-1. They're better round. I mean, they did a lot of damage there, a lot of information seeking, but just not able to close out those frags.
Unfortunately, a lot of damage at this point doesn't really matter. I mean, you're sitting with guys that are pretty much at 16k. I think it might have even been worth it to potentially save that armor with those pistols. But this is another full buy going in the way of Southern5, and let's see what they can do with it. Let's see how they adjust on the buy round.
Well. No, Dweezil once again with this AWP in middle. Wants to make something happen. He needs to make something happen at this point of the game. They want to get that 3-12. I mean, it's not impossible. We've seen some big ones, but it's going to be a boost of Trogi up top, so that's always a bit of a cheeky spot too. But Energy sort of gravitating towards A at the moment. RMP actually does take up the opening frag. It takes down Black Horse. Big hit. They know Trogi's up there, but now does he drop down there, or does he wait for the backup from his teammates? Yeah, he's going to stick it out.
I think Dom actually heard him. I think he heard him beforehand because he stepped out straight away to try and shoot him. But I think he should have perhaps waited for some sort of support flash or something like that to kill the guy on boost. And in credit to Southern5, it was important that RMP took the first engagement and won it, because that takes all the attention towards him and leaves the guy in boost in a beneficial position. Whether he's been spotted or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just having that presence there and having the advantage that's key. Well,
Flexi alone here on the B-bomb side up against Kimpachi. It's going to be a little 1v1 action for the time being there. But no, he's actually going to play... Oh, that could have worked out really well. But Dweezil sitting down there, going to take down Flexi, catch him on the rotate. Now 2v4. Canny picks up RMP. He's the man that caused a couple of problems from that little blue spot there. And now just the 2 players left alive, and this gun that Canny's got might actually end up being the problem right now. But we'll see. He's left alone here with the gun. Oh no, there you see. So I mean, I think it was much better from Southern5, but obviously I think at this point Energy are just like, you know, whatever. I like that play from Flexi though. If he had managed to sneak through there and got on that frag on Dweezil, he would have had that back sweep through towards A through the CT spawn. That would have been a nice little cheeky play from him.
Yeah, look, I think he just wanted to wait for the, you know, at the end of the day, he's in that lurk position, and, you know, he wanted to just wait for that CT to eventually try and clear his area and capitalize on the frag.
Yeah.
He unfortunately couldn't do so, and, you know, without the numbers advantage, it became pretty difficult to be effective from that position. And once he goes down, they realize it's not B, and they move on A. But
that was really fast from Tuckborg. He got up into that vent before they could even think about what they wanted to do. Now I think as well, Black Poison shuts down the AWP in mid, and well, I mean, RMP and Leon do take down 2 on that B bomb site, so they do shut down those 2 players at least to 3v3 right now, but it's going to be a tough one still.
They got a flank in middle, and he's just posting that white box area, and you see he converts the frag in middle, and now it becomes a hard round to win for Southern5.
Well, Trogi does take down 1. I mean, this is doable. He's got a flashbang, which is probably the most important thing to have in this sort of situation. You've got Domster on 6 HP, Flexi on 62. I mean, he's got body armor, and he's got a diffuse kit. So, I mean, this is very doable, and this could actually put them in an okay spot if they manage to sneak up a few rounds on the, you know, if Energy become a little bit complacent in their next half, and they're like, cool, well, we were so far ahead, but he needs to keep his eye on that, because Domster is at the back there, and you think you heard him there. But look at the setup once again, Ash. This is brilliant. Little splitting it up nicely there.
Very, very good discipline by Energy. They knew that the guy had to, you know, find one of the players before he could convert the round, and they just made it extremely difficult for the CT to actually get any sort of info or get any sort of pick. And yeah, perfect, well, near perfect half for Energy eSports.
Well, 13-2. It's going to be a tough hill to climb here for Southern5, but you know, we've seen miracles before, and
people have done more with less.
Yeah. But I mean, they have to take this. I mean, this pistol round is pretty much everything.
It's the
right
most
now.
important, right?
Yeah.
You know, they really need to do something here with this pistol round. They seem to be heading towards B, very similar to what Energy did on their pistol.
Got the split as well. One person going towards A, looking for that information too. But I mean, do we have it really established like an entry fragger yet, or someone who's really just looking at the top of the frags for Southern5, who we're gonna maybe just think like, okay, this guy can open up a little bit for them?
I don't actually know their roles that well.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, let's hope that we actually get to see that and get that information from the game if they can take this pistol around.
Oh, nice play by Black Poison. Catches out their lurker. That's down now. The call is there. They're going for the 4-1. But they have actually rotated a bit. They are going to hit that B really hard.
The
But Flex
CGs
is
have
there.
all the info.
Yes,
and it's
Flexi.
just a,
yes,
it's a
Flexi.
slaughterhouse. And he's jumping down.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's going to be another. Oh, no. Cannibalistic with the bad manners. A knife on Kimpachi. But yeah, playing from headshot box, Flexi just tapped them 1 by 1 pretty much. That was it. All she wrote.
Yeah, they went into a gauntlet there on B. I mean, Black Poison managed to get all the information. He knew where the team was going. The guys were prepared and, you know, holding the headshot angles, and they converted the headshots, and it became a pretty much clean-cut round for Energy eSports in that regard.
I want to make an observation here. So they were obviously running the 4-1 split. Black Poison got an entry frag, and then by the moment, see if they get the opening frag. Yeah, not enough. Domster takes down RMP. There's still one more player as the rest of Energy eSports come pouring onto this B bomb side, but Leon does take down 2. So that is just a little bit more information for them. And the bomb hasn't gone down just yet. Pick it up and move back towards that A. And also it's 3. Leon's still alive on 3 HP. Having a little bit of a replay here as they're jumping back down. It's pretty much the same positions. But Kimpachi has to do something here. He's got one player to his left. Doesn't get the frag. Has to move on pretty quickly. Look for the more information. But Energy are just kind of moving off. And look what Canny's got once again. This might become his gun for the weekend. But yeah, that was just that response there from Energy eSports. They half expected that rush coming in from Southern5 in the previous round because they took out their lurker. So you saw Flexi just be so ready for that rush onto B and just took them out 1 by 1. I mean, that's something I was going to ask you while this round kind of finished up here. That kind of play, like, do you half expect that when a lurker goes down? Do you half expect a rush to come, especially on a pistol round like that?
You know, look, I mean, you know, you get to know the teams and the players and the roles, and you know, you can make those sort of assumptions. But you know, at the end of the day, it could making a solid call just based on that would be, there's a potential for them to punish you for that.
Yeah.
But generally, yeah, I mean, if there lands up being, the cross smokes being thrown and they're taking control of a specific area and you land up picking off one guy and there's no sort of trade or attempt to trade,
Yeah.
I think a general assumption to make, that they're going to hit the other side is a pretty safe and good one.
Okay, Canny takes down Dweezil. Did get the bomb plant down, but might just be a little too late as Energy will go into the 15th round here with a decent economy on their CT side. But with that bomb plant, I mean, once again, now tied at pretty much match points. Southern5 don't have much of an economy.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously they still had hopes of winning there. They bought on the 14th, well, when they had 14 rounds in the name of the comeback.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't convert it, and now they've got sort of a quasi buy going. And let's see if they can maybe make some magic happen.
Well, yeah, mid right now, but this is Kempachi firing off into the smoke. But Dweezil, I mean, this might be the better gun for him right now. He's going to match up still up against.
The CT's getting aggressive on B there and getting punished for it.
Yeah. One down. And Kempachi going to be down as well. And Dumpster, I mean, there's probably much left to say. We just kind of waiting. Black Poison does take down 2. It's RMP and Dweezil. Might be the final moments of this map. But no, Trogi takes down Flexius in a 2v3 right now. And we'll see if this this cannibalistic gun can pay out here. And we'll see one there from headshot box, and that's going to rounding out a game with that gun. I mean, come on.
Yeah, look, I mean, as we expected, it was Energy won it in dominating fashion.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised at the result. Energy looking strong. They really came here to get the job done, and they've done it.
Well, I mean, Energy eSports, somewhat expected victory there for them up against Southern5. That will put them with a little bit of confidence going into the second round there. It is only a best of 1 for today up until our loser bracket. Loser bracket will be best 3 and final best of 5. So it's going to be, I mean, I don't think we'll see a lot of games like that today. I think as the day goes on, we might see some tougher matchups. We still have a pretty big game coming up next, Damage Control up against WRG. And then, of course, as the day progresses, we'll see some of our other awesome teams here at the VS Gaming Masters. But GG, well played, Energy eSports. Make it 16 to 2, and we're going to hand it back over to Hellbird and the boys on the panel.
It's good. Thanks a lot for that, Congo and goals. That was sort of a surprise. I didn't introduce the casters in the previous one. They gave you the surprise that Goals is actually joining us. So I've also welcome also his first time casting. So they did a pretty good job. I give him a passing grade.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, but so now, based on that, I'm deducting both of your points for predicting this correctly because you're both way off on how many rounds Southern5 would pick up.
Yeah.
So I'm giving both your points to Goals.
To Goals.
Yes,
Okay.
so Goals has 2 points.
Goals get both our points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's fine.
I think the reason why I think neither of us really expected that Southern5.
No, I do not accept excuses.
But it's a good excuse. We didn't expect as many double AWP rounds. I think we saw 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, we saw 2 double AWP rounds, and it was also not. It was from a position of being behind already. So the first double AWP round they picked up around 6, I think it was. They did well. They won the round.
Yeah.
Dweezil and RMP picking up those AWPs, and then the second one. You know, they did it again, and they were also just after losing. Now, for those of you who don't know, you get something in CS called round loss bonus. Now, that ramps up to 7 rounds. And then if you lose a round, you don't get that round loss bonus anymore. Yeah. So that round loss bonus helps the CT, well, in this case, the CTs, just buy a little bit extra utility or whatever the case may be. So they lost a round on already, I think it was 5-0. If I remember correctly.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was 5-0.
So they won a 5-round loss bonus. They won a round, and then they lost a round. So that puts them on a double eco. So they have to save twice before they can really buy full again, with full equipment. Yeah.
Do you reckon it would be better to do like a double save or like a partial save?
Well, I mean, I think, I understand why. Cash is a map that you can double AWP on. I mean, there's good spots in terms of B, mid, A, you can even utilize an AWP very well. So I understand why it was done, but I think just from a position of being behind already, I don't think it's... You're sort of putting all your eggs in one basket. You know?
And when you're really behind in that position, the enemy team can buy out fully the next round. And we saw both times. We see a double up, but then Energy wouldn't care. They'd still have a full loadout. And then you win around anyway. So it feels like it doesn't really give you the advantage that you wanted to get with the double up. It's offset entirely by the economic disadvantage that you're at. So I agree with you that, like, in that losing position, not really the best case, especially the risk of having to go double eco immediately afterwards if you lose.
Yeah, and also an interesting point to note is that the first AWP that Black Poison picked up that game was from that double.
Yeah, it was from the double AWP.
From the double AWP.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a good thing. Not something you want to do. It's just nightmares moments. You mentioned a little bit about losing rounds. Once again, we are catering to some of the new audience, so to the more seasoned veteran viewer, excuse these kind of questions. But let's chat a little bit about just what we expect after you lose your first round in a match.
Well, losing the first... Okay, so there's two different sides to it. Obviously, your CT sides, losing the pistol round, you're generally saving twice before you can actually full buy. If you lose pistol round on T side, you can. Most teams now internationally as well are doing a sort of Tech 9 armor by second round if they lose. If they get the bomb down, you get extra money for getting the bomb down as well. So if they get the bomb down, they'll save one round and be able to buy AKs in the third round as well. So there's two different sides to that.
Since this was aimed at the casual viewer, Extend, you want to make that into English for us?
Basically, when you lose the first round, especially if you're playing on the CT side, the way it kind of cripples your economy for a much longer time than if you are on the T side. And I think one of the more important things that we saw in this game is just that after the first couple of rounds, right? So Southern5 started on CT side. We saw Energy start on Terrace. They won the first round, and then they just kept rolling after that. And the problem when you're playing on the CT side, you get a lot less out of quasi-buys than you do out of the terror side. So we saw, I think, 2 or 3 quasi-buys from Southern5.
Yeah, 2 after the second double up.
So and that really cripples you, because then you'll find yourself in situations where even if your positioning is good, you just don't have the damage to actually win the round. And we saw, I think, once or twice where RMN would actually get the drop on Black Poison, but you can't finish the round. You have this bull pop, and there's nothing you can do. Then they turn on you and you get just smashed afterwards.
I mean, it's what we were talking about in before the game, where you let a team like Energy gain momentum, and then it just carries on going. You know, there's no real way to stop. But the thing is, generally, you know, you see it in some games where after a tactical pause, you kind of, the team composes, and if they win the round, then you'll see them kind of gain some traction and pick up a couple of rounds. But that didn't really happen, unfortunately.
You think it came too late, the tech pause?
No, I don't think so. I think it was in good timing. But I just think that in this game, Energy did quite well in out-aiming S5.
Yeah. One thing we were talking about as well, which probably didn't really help S5, is the fact that they lost so much early economy and they were forced to keep buying out items. They didn't have as much utility, and they kept making... Each game felt like it was very even in terms of their positioning. And if you're playing against a team like Energy, who will out-aim you, you want to complicate the game as much for them as possible. You want to be throwing out smokes for them, throwing out flashes, make them think about going around corners before they actually get there. But if you make it on basically open affair where all it's down to is aiming guns, and you have the same level of guns on Energy, usually better, then you're pretty much guaranteed to lose.
Well, I mean, talking about the aim, I think that it was round 3 before S5 picked up a kill?
Yeah. No, I think it was round 5 before they got their first kill.
Was it round 5?
Yeah, the first 4 rounds, no kill.
Yeah, and then we saw that sneaky little TK as well.
Yes, I was going to say, that is in fact happened in our first game, so I'm happy with our first TK of the tournament. Who actually, what do you guys recall who it was?
Not too sure. I think
we will find out.
Yeah, we will find out.
We'll find out, and then we'll make sure we keep a special place in our heart for that player who killed his friend. But I think it is about time we start talking about the next matchup. That's going to happen at 11:13. Will be DC versus White Rabbit Gaming, or Damage Control versus White Rabbit Gaming. They're obviously, I think, probably a better, a more competitive matchup between those two teams.
Yes.
I think, bearing in mind, obviously, this is a little bit expected, that we're going to see the high-ranked teams playing against the lower-ranked teams. This is obviously the Energy coming with the top seed into this tournament meant that they're going to play the side with the lowest, and this time being the wild card. Somewhat lucky it wasn't the Bravado wild card. That would have been interesting.
No, that would have been interesting. Bravado Energy game, first game of the tournament?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have mind, to be perfectly honest. But DC and WG are coming up next. That'll be at 11:30, so we'll be taking a bit of a break until then. But make sure you join us again. I'm sure there's some more stream keys to get to receive for your patronage, and of course it will be an exciting matchup, I'm sure you. So until then, we'll see you a bit later.